Hello, lovely listeners. So good to be back with you. And I am so thrilled to be sharing what I'm sharing today. Now, I know it probably doesn't sound great because I'm going to be talking about something that costs you $297 every single day. $297 every single day. But knowing this is going to create so much freedom for you. And it's important. I feel like it's like sometimes conversations around death, right? Like we don't want to have the conversation because we're afraid of it, but it's coming. And so the sooner we have the conversation, the actually better we can equip ourselves and those around us and make decisions instead of being surprised. And I actually remember speaking with someone who told me about this box that they had for in the instance of their death, with all their wishes, with all their paperwork, with all their passwords, like everything. So in that instance, their people are super supported, right? So most of us are avoiding that. We don't want to have that awkward conversation. And so therefore the people that are left behind with a whole mess to clean up. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm cleaning up the mess as it relates to this super expensive thing that we are absolutely wasting time and money and living on every single day. And it is the real cost of poor decision making. So I'm going to share with you the calculation because I literally did the calculation on what indecision is costing you every single day. And before I go into it, let me just remind you that right now, you have the ability to access the Time Hackers Blueprint. It's a 30-day system where you invest 10 minutes a day and you get 20 hours back every single week. So the only question that you have to ask yourself is, what am I going to do with 20 hours back every single week? And then you get to go live and find out, right? So if you are someone who wants the time hacker tools, wants to be more effective with your time, wants to stop having things take so long, wants to achieve your goals consistently, repeatedly, wants to enjoy your life and have guilt-free time off and guilt-free time on, and know how to accelerate and get things done faster and know when to slow down, and all of the amazing tools, and I'll speak a little bit more about this later, then that is for you. 50 spots. While it's open. You might click the link and it might be gone. So just sharing that with you. So this cost, the cost of indecision, $297. I literally have my notes next to me. So your work hours based off of the average salary in the US, I think it's based off of like $50,000 to $60,000 a year. Your work hours in a single day is $228 per day. $228 per day based off of like a $60,000 a year salary. And we lose data. This is all based off of data that exists. We lose 2 to 3 hours every day on indecision and going back on decision. So if you've like completed something and you go back and change it and you go back and change it again, that is a form of indecision. Okay, so that's 31% of your workday gone. That's 31%, 2 to 3 hours based off of like an 8-hour workday. And by the way, if you work 10 hours, your indecision doesn't stop at 2 to 3 hours. It increases proportionally, if not more, because oftentimes the reason we're working so much longer is because of indecision. So we're being conservative with our measurements here. So 31% of $228, right? If you're earning $60,000 a year, if you earn more than that, the number is going to be a lot higher. That's $71 down the drain. Okay, just based off of wasted work time. Now, the second thing, right, from indecision and going back on decisions, the second is missed opportunities, right? Delayed decisions. What decisions are we delaying? The most important ones. What things are we putting off? The most important things, right? So we can assume that those delayed decisions mean delayed important work, delayed valuable work with rewards, right? So if we conservatively said that the delayed work is worth just 2 times the value of replying to emails that weren't urgent, where it's probably worth a lot more. Again, we're being conservative. That's another $142 gone daily, right? We're going to double the previous number, the time wasted, and then we're going to double it and say conservatively, not only are we wasting time, but we're missing opportunities in that wasted time where we could have double the impact, even though we could have a lot more than double the impact, right? And then the third thing is what I'm calling a tired brain tax. When you are stuck on decisions, when you are not making decisions, your brain is exhausted, right? If you feel like you are not doing anything in your days, but you're exhausted, this is exactly what's happening. Your brain is exhausted. Being stuck on decisions tires your brain out for hours afterwards, right? And so the data shows that it reduces our effectiveness by 25% for the rest of the day, because your brain cannot perform when it's holding all these unmade decisions and going back and forth on decisions. So if we say 25% of the remaining 5.5 hours, right, we've wasted the time, of the remaining 5.5 hours is 1.4 hours at your $71, makes it $84 more loss every day. And 71 plus 142 plus 84 is 297. If you are not a maths geek like me, that's okay. I just wanted to explain it so you understood. You can go back and re-listen to it and grab a pen and a piece of paper. If you're on my email list, I'm going to send you a breakdown. But just so you know, the cost of indecision is $297 every single day based off of an 8-hour workday, based off of a $60,000 a year salary. So if you work longer, the cost is higher. If you earn more, the cost is higher. And the yearly cost of this, right, if we say about 260 work days out of the 345, and again, some of you might be like, I work more than that. So we're being really conservative. It's over $70,000 a year. That's enough for like a Tesla. That's enough for a house down payment. That's enough for 4 years of college tuition gone every single year because we're not making decisions, because we're going back and forth on decisions made, right? And that's why Time Hackers is not giving you the time management. We're not going to tell you to write things down and color code them and put them into your pretty planner that, you know, is going to sit in your drawer unused in 2 weeks. It's about making decisions faster. We literally teach you how to make decisions faster. The blueprint that I spoke about last week, the blueprint that is currently available, it's got a whole section on how to master decision making. We call it decision hacking, how to hack your decisions. And when we say hack, we mean optimization, how to optimize your decision making so that you're not just losing $70,000 a year. Okay, so you're not wasting $70,000 a year, because what makes our approach different is the simple 3-ingredient solution. Right? A lot of time management strategies out there are super complex, and they're giving you, you know, measure out every 15 minutes and 5 minutes, and then every time your brain gets distracted, you're going to lose your focus for 23 minutes, and then you need to, you know, like write everything down and measure it in 15-minute increments and put it into your calendar and color code it. And then if one thing goes off, it's like a domino effect. Like, no, you don't need to download different apps, like productivity apps, and buy different softwares and do any of that complicated stuff. We focus on the simple ingredients. I recently I've been making some homemade ice cream, some protein ice cream, and I literally saw this thing on Instagram that said cottage cheese, berries, blend, freeze. And I was doing it. I did it. It's delicious. And so I made it, and while I was making it, something must have kicked off in my algorithm where it was sending me all these protein ice creams. And suddenly I came across, I'm not lying, I came across a recipe that had like 3 different types of protein powder that had peanut butter. And don't get me wrong, I like peanut butter, but had peanut butter and 3 different types of protein powder and a certain type of milk, which you can substitute for a different type of milk. And you had to blend it on this particular blender that this person was selling. And you had to measure out on this. And it was like, what? Like, while I was just reading it, my ice cream is already ready. Like, I'm good to go. That's what time hacking is all about. What's the simplest, easiest, fastest way to get you the results? So that's what we're all about. And the cheapest, right? Think about the cost of ice cream and berries versus 3 different protein powders, a specific blender. Like, that's what most time management advice is. And that's what we are not doing. So the 3 components are brain mastery, right? Learn how to drive your brain instead of letting it run wild with its like primitive programming that just wants you to like hide in a cave and conserve your energy and not step out of line and not do anything different to anything that you've already done, right? You need to learn how to master your brain so it's a tool for you and not running the show. So when your brain says, hey, I don't want to do that scary thing, you can say, I know, and we're going to do it anyway, instead of continuing to delay the things that matter. You're going to get decision acceleration, right? That's what we're talking about today, the cost of indecision. So the benefit of decision acceleration, where you make confident decisions in minutes, not weeks, in minutes, not months, in minutes, not never, right? How many decisions are you sitting on right now that are unmade? And by the way, we make 35,000 decisions a day. That's why knowing how to master your decisions is one of the most important things that you will ever master, and is a total time hack and cannot be ignored when optimizing your time. Like if your time management or whatever you're trying to do to optimize your time is not teaching you decision making as a learnable skill, you are not going to optimize your time. It's not possible. And then the third is obviously fear and failure, or fear and failure as tools for growth, right? So instead of using fear and failure as stop signs, reverse signs, backup signs, and turn left and avoid, you learn how to take bold action without overthinking, without perfectionism, without freaking out, without shutting down every part of your nervous system, without going into fight, flight, freeze, fawn, any of those, right? So that's what we're talking about. When you master your brain, your decisions, and your fear of failure, outdated programming, and you learn how to optimize them for you, you can't not accelerate. You can't not get 20 hours back every single week and achieve more. It's impossible. Those things come hand in hand. You just operate differently. You become a different person, not because of the plan that's external to you, right? Our tools go to the root cause. It is an inside job. Doesn't matter how pretty or how clean, your space is, if you are sure that you are going to fail at doing something and you are afraid of failure and your brain evolved to be afraid of failure, you're not going to do the thing. Doesn't matter how many times you say, I know it's not a big deal. You're just gaslighting yourself. You're not solving the problem. You're shaming yourself and you're going to push it further away. You need tools and solutions that optimize your brain, your decisions, and your fear of failure, so you know how to get the thing done faster, right? I always think about how fast our clients get things done. Like, it's very regular. I mean, Emily said, things that used to take me weeks now get done in days. Sade said things are getting done in a quarter of the time. Right? And some specific examples just from videos. Yana joined Time Hackers, watched one video, and she saved 50 minutes on a task that used to take her an hour. She gets it done in now 10 minutes. This is a task that she does every single day, every work day. So she saved 50 minutes a day, every work day, from one single video. One video. That's already 5 hours a week from one video, one 10-minute video. That's what I'm talking about here. And I checked, the podcast last week, Sophie made 10 decisions in 5 minutes. Right? Monica got things done that she'd been putting off for months in an afternoon. This is what I'm talking about. Getting things done faster, getting the important things done faster, right? Because they're double the value. We spoke about that earlier. Now, your brain might be giving you reasons to wait, even though this is exactly what you've asked for. You've asked for the Time Hacker tools in a more price accessible and time accessible way. And we've literally created the ability to get the core tools on your schedule, right? To learn how you want immediately in your pocket today for 75% less. So we've literally answered that. But your brain now is like, oh, well, hi, I still don't. By the way, even though you've answered the literal question that we get the most and created this thing that I want. Now, I know some of you have already jumped in, bought it, celebrating you guys, already getting those daily emails, already, some of you have even already claimed your free coaching sessions because you've already completed it. Told you could do it in a weekend. Anyway, so some of you are there, but some of your brains are still saying, well, I'm too busy. But here's the truth. You are going to waste 20 hours this week without the system. Some of your brains are saying, well, I should wait until things calm down magically. Magically is not going to happen, right? Things won't calm down unless you have the tools to calm them down. And the last thing that I hit so much is another course I won't finish. I don't have to buy another course I won't finish. So there's two things. One, We know brains. We've built everything in this to help you finish, like the 30-day bonus, like the fact that it's 10-minute videos, like the 7-day implementation plan that walks you through exactly what to do every day for 7 days. We know brains, everything, like the private podcast. Like, we know what we are doing. We are not your average, like, buy a course online, see ya. Like, one of the problems my brain is always solving for, that I'm always speaking about with my team, is not how to get how to market, it's not how to sell, it's not even how to get people to use the course, it's how to get people to succeed, right? This is a mission-led company. I want people to succeed. I want lives to change. I want this to revolutionize the entire time industry, and that comes from your success. So everything that we build is built with that in mind. Because the next thing that I'm going to share with you is, as I've shared with Yana, as I've shared with Monica, as I've shared with Sophie, one video. You don't need to watch the entire course to free up hours of your time. You don't need to. Now, some of you want to, and I love that too. And then guess what? You can binge it in a weekend and then go back and do, the 7-day implementation plan that we're sending you. You can do your own implementation plan. You can rewatch one video again and again and again. Like one that really stands to you. You can be like, this, I really want the accelerated decisions. That's what I want in my brain. Fear of failure, there's something going on there. I want to be able to move forward with fear faster. I'm going to listen to that video every day. It's going to go into your brain in podcast form. You are going to see and create change and new neural pathways and new ways of thinking. Like, this is life-changing work. And let me just explain a little bit about the implementation method. So when you sign up, you get immediate access to the entire course, and you get an email, right? And with a breakdown of exactly what to focus on that day, and the next day, and the next day. And by the way, we also explain, if for some reason one day you don't do it, we also explain why that happens and how to solve for it. Like, you've never received emails like this. So you want to get the emails that understand your brain, that create safety for success, compassion and understanding, and an ability to keep going, even if you do it imperfectly because you're human or because life happens, right? You're going to understand, like a 5-year-old would. That's why we break it down, the science behind why our process works, why this works. Okay. And so basically go to timehackers.xyz/blueprint while this space is available. And I just want to share a little bit about why this matters. I see people join our Time Hackers program, and I see them, of course, achieve their goals. And I see them, of course, create more time and more space. But it's not just about the more time and the more space. It's about how that translates into your life. It's about, no longer being the person that snaps at your parents or your kids because you feel like you are so under pressure. It's about the person who gets to, get on the floor and play with loved ones, and actually connect with them, so that years later you have a good relationship with them because you weren't so busy chasing and hustling towards goals that wasn't working, by the way, or even if it was, that you forgot to build relationships. It's about being the person that has space to take care of your health and yourself. Like, you've literally heard Johnny's story about how people are like, you must be busy. He's got a job working for the police 30 hours a week. He's got a business. He's building a whole community for police experiencing burnout. He's married. He's got kids. And he's kayaking, and he's not busy. Like, this is what we're talking about here. Living more, playing more, succeeding more. This is the blueprint. And I decided to create it because I was so tired of hearing from brilliant people that they had to save to access Time Hackers. And I thought, if I had access to these tools, I could save a lot faster because I could earn a lot faster. And that's what I want. I want you to get access to life-changing tools. And it really hit me with this trip that I'm going on to Spain for 5 weeks. I'm like, I want people to be able to have the freedom to choose how their child is educated, right? Because we're testing world schooling for the first time, and I have the freedom to do that. And it's not something I even would have thought I wanted, but I want people to have that choice. I don't want people, tricked into a system that wasn't designed for them in mind, and then given tools that also weren't designed with them in mind. Because if you are, a woman, if you are a parent, if you are neurodiverse, if you have a chronic illness, if you work in a job that didn't exist 100 years ago, then time management was not designed for you. Not to mention it's heavy influenced by plantations and the Industrial Revolution. So That's why I want to make this more accessible. I'm always thinking about how to get these tools in people's hands so lives can change, and not just your life, but the lives of those around you, of your partner, of your parents, of your kids, of your friends, of the people that you are going to meet on your travel adventures. So that's it from me. Jump on the blueprint today. You will get immediate access, and you will get your very first email walking you through exactly what to do. And you, like, that one video is already going to change things for you. That one video. Watch one video, jump in, let your brain crack open, and whether you choose to binge it in a weekend or you complete it in the 30 days, we will then get to celebrate you and give you 3 private coaching sessions. 3 private coaching sessions. Think about what you would just pay for 3 private coaching sessions with an expert coach. So enjoy, change your life. You are listening to this for a reason. If I could go back to past Vicky and say anything, I would say you've got to make decisions from believing in yourself. You cannot make decisions from putting yourself down. I spent way too long doing that, and it was such a waste of time. So I invite you to make a decision, believing in yourself, and jump on this opportunity. And I'm celebrating all of you that already did. And we love hearing from you, how you are doing, what you are learning, what's changing. Keep them coming, and have a wonderful week. Bye, everyone.